want to tell another story about Rabbi Nachum Ish Gamzu. Because he's called Ish Gamzu because everything that happened, he said, Gamzu Latova. That everything that happens is good. That this is good. And according to tradition, Rabbi Nachum is buried in Tzfat. In a little bit you're going to see his grave. And the story goes that the Jewish people had to pay the yearly taxes to the Roman governor in Syria. But they didn't have that much money and no one wanted to go. So they said, who are we going to send? So they said, let's send Rabbi Nachum Gamzu. So they told him, and he said, Gamzu Latova. And he took the treasure chest with all the money from the people. And he spent a night in an inn. In the inn, he went down to eat his food. And while he was eating his food, the innkeeper went up to the room, saw this treasure chest, opened it, and he saw it was filled with money. And he took the money and he put sand instead of it. And Rabbi Nachum went downstairs the next morning, didn't realize what happened. He went down to the meeting with the Roman governor, and he waits his turn in line to give the treasure over. And he opens it up, and what's there? Sand. And he says to him, the emperor says, what, you trying to make a joke out of me? What is this sand? And just then, one of the soldiers from of the army of the Syrian, the Greek army, came in, and he came from the battlefield, and he said, we really have a big problem, and we really need a secret weapon to defeat them. And I heard that there's sand from Palestine, from Israel, that's holy and that can do what we need. Now, according to tradition, this was Eliyahu. Excuse me. According to tradition, this was Eliyahu Navi that came and said that. And so he took the treasure back, the treasure chest back to the battlefield, and he threw the sand at the enemy, and they all ran away. And so he was highly rewarded. And anyways, he went back to Eretz Yisrael, and on the way back he stayed at the inn, and the innkeeper said, what are you doing here? And he said, I gave the treasure chest to the governor, and the sand was holy sand, and he threw it, and they threw it at the enemy, and they all dispersed. And Gamzo Tov. This was also good. And so the innkeeper went and filled up a treasure chest of sand, brought it to the emperor, but his fate was a little bit different. He ended up losing his head. What do I want to say here? What's the story? What's the difference between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Nachum? Rabbi Akiva, everything in the world, in the end, everything's going to be good. There's a reason for everything to happen that we don't know about. Rabbi Nachum says something different. He says, what's happening right now is good. We may not see the good, but we have to make it good. We have to take advantage of this opportunity that we're all in right now and try to make it into something that's going to benefit us and humankind. This is the opportunity that we have. I want to turn it over to Miriam, who's been sitting here patiently with me, and she's going to tell a little story from the book that her father wrote, and relating to the Seder.
Relating to what Alan said, my father was a person who, if you gave him lemons, he made lemonade. My father was a Holocaust survivor and witnessed his beloved synagogue burn in flames when he was at Kristallnacht, when he was 11 years old, and witnessed the horror of his father being taken. 1 month later, his mother had the foresight to put him and the older siblings on the last kinder transport out of Frankfurt to Paris, France, where he stayed at first with his uncle and aunt. He ended up teaching himself for his bar mitzvah, except on his bar mitzvah day, he was called up to the Torah without without a minion. The only ones there next to him was his little brother, his aunt, and women that were trying to hold back their tears and be happy for this young boy becoming a man on his bar mitzvah day. Because that Friday night, all the men in Paris were rounded up, all the Jews, and taken. After that, they went to children's homes to get out of Paris, into the mountains. And Ernst Papernak, who opened the children's homes, had the foresight that when Hitler was coming into France to help these children escape through the Pyrenees Mountains to Lisbon, where they took the SS Marino to the United States to safety. In Lisbon, on their way to America, the Rav in Lisbon gave this Dvar Torah, which is something that is a symbol of my father's faith through the years. Meanwhile, we were in Lisbon. I will never forget the beautiful Dvar Torah I heard at the time from the rabbi of Lisbon. Children, you are now on the way to a Treifa Medina. This is what they thought of the U.S. in the 1941. On the Seder night, we have a beautiful paragraph which starts, V'hi she'amda l'avotenu v'lanu, and this covenant stood for our fathers. If we look at the paragraphs before, there seemed to be no connection whatsoever, neither in the paragraph after. Yet we have the beautiful minhag to say it and to lift up the cup of wine at the time. Take a look at the letters, Vayehi. Vav equals to 6, the 6 tractates of the Mishnah. Hey equals to 5, the 5 books of the Torah. Yud equals to 10, the 10 commandments we received from God at Mount Sinai. Aleph equals to 1. 1 is our God in the heavens and earth. You all come from nice Jewish homes. If you keep in mind, V'hi she'amda l'avotenu v'lanu, keep learning Mishnah, keep learning Torah, keep the 10 commandments, and always remember the 1, our God in heavens and earth. Hopefully, you will be able to survive this experience in the Treifa Medina. This made such an impression on him that he promised to repeat this every Seder. Went alone at the time, not knowing if he was going to be an orphan. Unfortunately, never did meet back up with his parents. But he built a life. He has, may he rest in peace, has grandchildren and great-grandchildren in Eretz Yisrael and in New York. And they're the symbol of continuity. The connection to right now, aside from the fact that my father gave this to our Torah at every single Seder, and we all, and his children all, and it's been said, repeated all over the world, it's a symbol of his faith at a time of getting on a boat, not knowing what my future will be. We're experiencing now a historic time. We have no idea what is before us. But if we go with the knowledge of V'hi she'amda avotenu, our history as our strength behind us, as our faith in the Almighty ahead of us, they will be good.
During the Seder, people of Israel are asked
at 8 o'clock to go out on their porches and open their windows and sing together, the whole country unitedly, V'hi she'amda.
So now we have Noam Buskila, who was a neighbor of ours for many years. He's going to sing V'hi she'amda for us. Noam used to do Kabbalat Shabbat a lot for us. And now he's going to teach you the song V'hi she'amda.
And he happens to live right opposite the grave of Ish Gamzu on Ish Gamzu Street in Tzvat.
Thank you. See you.